In this video, I wanna talk about what legal penalties should be imposed on individuals who use rebuttal in Deadlock. Valve created an entirely new environment for cybercrime and antisocial behavior. Using rebuttal is one of many crimes that you can do in Deadlock. Unfortunately, legal framework of most countries is simply not ready to face this emerging threat. Individuals who use rebuttal pose an immediate threat to society. Streets ain't safe as long as those who use rebuttal can freely roam the streets. The government must take immediate action before usage of rebuttal gets normalized. Anti-Rebuttal legislation must be implemented. 5 years in prison is a minimal sentence for using rebuttal. Prison sentence is the best way to combat this type of crime. Those who use rebuttal are dangerous and they must be isolated from society to ensure public safety. Prison sentence is the best way of incapacitation, because while being in prison, those dangerous individuals won't be able to re-offend. You can't play Deadlock if you're locked up. Depending on aggravating factors present, the sentence could escalate from 5 years in prison to life imprisonment. And before you start protesting, from perspective of yes, using rebuttal in Deadlock is a brutal crime, but the offender still has right for a fair punishment that matches severity of the crime, and life imprisonment is an overly harsh punishment for rebuttal usage. If you think that way, you don't fully grasp the severity of the problem. Offenders that use rebuttal do it with intent. It's a rational decision, not an impulsive act driven by emotions. Those who use rebuttal are cold-blooded and calculating criminals. It means that defenses such as recklessness and negligence don't apply to cases involving rebuttal. Rebuttal is often used by a group of individuals rather than one person. That's RICO. It's organized crime. Considering all of those factors, 5 years in prison to life imprisonment seems as an appropriate punishment. Implementation of this punishment is necessary to demonstrate that usage of rebuttal is unacceptable. As I mentioned earlier, rebuttal users are calculating criminals. Using rebuttal is the rational choice. If we add legal penalties, 5 years in prison, into their equation, the idea of committing crimes with rebuttal no longer looks that appealing. The very existence of such legislation would significantly reduce the number of crimes involving rebuttal. The existence of legal penalties is a deterrent factor. It will prevent potential offenders from committing crimes with rebuttal through fear of punishment. Furthermore, this legislation will act as a form of internal social control. Some people don't perceive use of rebuttal in Deadlock as a crime, but after anti-rebuttal legislation becomes operational, those individuals will understand that using rebuttal is a crime. We discussed the legal aspect. Now I want to talk about practical implementation of anti-rebuttal legislation. In the age of artificial intelligence, it's not a problem to implement this legislation. Government will have to develop a basic AI that scans all Deadlock matches using external resources such as StatLocker and TrackLock for rebuttal usage. If AI detects that someone in the match used rebuttal, it automatically sets a court date and sends the offender an email with the date of court. The offender goes to court, gets a sentence, 5 years in prison, and goes to prison. If offender doesn't show up in court, appropriate forces will be sent to this offender's location. Unfortunately, this detection system has a fatal flaw. Offender can sell rebuttal at any stage of the game and it won't show up in post-game stats. To prevent this, Valve have to be legally obligated to implement an AI that will monitor everything that happens in every Deadlock game. If this system gets implemented, the criminal will get punished even if rebuttal was sold. Spread the message by liking, commenting and sharing.